Okay, hello everyone. So welcome to the JoinBrands Creator Masterclass Live. So I'm Abby Fridman. Some of you might have recognized me from the TikTok account. I do brand face for JoinBrands. And if you don't know who we are and you're just coming across this video, we're basically a platform that connects creators to paid content jobs. So you can create content and get paid for it. But let's get right into it. So a lot of what we'll be focusing on today is getting the hook down in your videos so that you can actually start to see the conversions and the retention rate in your videos, because that is the number one thing that makes or breaks all of your content, right? So if nobody's watching the hook, they're not going to watch the rest of the video. So this is essentially the order that we're going to be going through today. In the event that we do have some technical difficulties, we will be providing examples for you guys in the chat so you can directly click on the video. And of course, all of this is going to be recorded and sent to you, and you'll be able to access all of the examples that we'll be going through as well. And just a reminder, we will be having a Q&A section towards the end of the masterclass. So if you do have any questions, just remember to put them into the Q&A section, not in the primary chat, but feel free to use the primary chat to connect with other creators or, exchange social handles, and definitely add us on social media. You can find us at JoinBrands, and I'm Abby Fridman. So essentially, what the hook is the first 3 seconds of the beginning of the video. So how long do you give a post your attention before you start scrolling again, right? And unfortunately, in the realm of social media nowadays, we have a very short attention span. So a good hook in your video essentially gives you guaranteed success, but a bad hook is going to give you invisibility. So a lot of people talk about what's called the 200 view jail, but it's not really such a thing, right? It's just giving you a significant kind of signal that your hook is not performing well enough to get people into a higher viewer range. So next time you're scrolling through social media, just kind of give yourself a mental note. Why is it that I'm scrolling past this video, and what made me stay to watch, right? Because everything that people do, whether it's visible or verbal, is a subliminal way to get you to pay attention to the content itself. So every hook lives or dies by these 4 elements, and we're going to break this down together. Of course, like I said, there will be examples. So essentially, hooks will live into this container, we like to call it. So this is going to be a combination between text on screen, the video itself, which is the visual cue. It could be a carousel in a photo format, or it could be the audio itself, which is the verbal cue. So when you're able to understand and know this, you're going to be able to play to your strengths and pick the section where you predominantly shine. A lot of people, and I'm going to give you an example first offhand, if you're a makeup artist in the beauty niche, a lot of the visual cues are going to be the direct before and after on screen, right? There's so many different niches we can go into, but that's just the first one on the top of my head. So everyone has its own first impression window and obviously rules for engagement. So each platform has a different format of how they deliver that content. So a lot may say that Instagram is a little bit more aesthetics based and it's a lot more visual cues. However, they are converting more to a video based platform. So the same hook applications that you'll be using in TikTok, YouTube, or even long form content is predominantly what you'll be using across all the platforms. So each platform chooses to boost your content based on what it wants more of. So are they going to be aiming for more watch time? Are they going to be aiming for more comments, shares, clicks, and saves even? So the reason that hooks predominantly work is because the strongest hooks are able to tap into how people are wired to notice and react. All of this typically plays a role into psychology. So, you have to think about sales psychology. Even though you're not selling something directly, this might not be a TikTok shop video. At the end of the day, you're selling yourself as the creator of the video. And you need to ask yourself, am I making a good impression upon that first post? Is someone going to see me, and are they really going to engage with this piece of content? So there are 2 things that we have in our control and out of control. Rather 3 things, I apologize. So in your zone of influence as a creator, what you are able to control is your hook format and your delivery of content, right? So is this a long form piece of content? Is this short form? Is it aesthetic? Is it a trending audio type of piece of content? Is it a response to comment? Are you verbally speaking? So that's what we mean by the delivery. Then we have messaging that actually lands. And when you're questioning messaging, all you can ask yourself is really, what is the point of this video? And is this video getting the point across effectively? Then we have your post structure and flow. So the structure and flow nowadays has a very kind of scientific method to it, I like to call, right? So every time we see any social media tips, we typically see the format of having a hook, a body, and a call to action. So it's a very triangular type of method. But nowadays, what I like to suggest to a lot of creators as someone who owns a business in content creation is remove the hook because your body is the hook. And you might be a little confused by what I mean. Nowadays, hooks are becoming the predominant message of what is the point. So if you start the video with what is the point of the video, you're going to be getting a lot more traction and attention than starting with a boring old hook that's introductory, saying who you are, saying your name, greeting people. That is a no-go, but we'll get into that. So what is outside of your grip is algorithmic priorities, the audience mood and attention, right? Like someone's having a bad day, maybe they're just doom scrolling, they don't really pay attention to you. Obviously, it's not your fault. Then there's timing, trends, and external worldly events that happen that affect how social media operates. Just give me 1 second, guys. So the first thing that we're going to get into is weak hooks and why weak hooks don't work. So we did have a bit of a technical difficulty with these playing. So I'm going to try to play a video. If anyone in the chat can kind of give some feedback and let the team know and then verbally tell me if they are working. But again, if these examples are not playing for you guys, we will obviously provide them for you. So let's just play an example really quick. Ooh, why is that happening? Sorry, guys, give me 1 second.
Somebody asked me, is it okay to do 8 to 10 exercises on leg day? I would probably say that is not a good idea. When I go to the gym now and I train legs, I'm only doing.
If anyone could unmute and let me know if this is working for them, or just type it in the chat and let me know if this is working. It's playing the audio, but it's choppy. Okay. Okay, so instead of going through the video examples, what we're going to do is we're going to send these examples to you. But regardless, we're still going to go through the entire presentation so you guys can see, and we'll provide these examples to you so you can kind of see what's going on. But in this first video that I did play, the initial hook is directly speaking to the camera. Now, I don't know if you guys know who he is. He is a very popular fitness influencer entrepreneur. So his hook strategy predominantly in this video is focusing on talking, obviously shirtless, which tends to capture a lot of people's attention, right? So it's a very visual cue. Then he goes into the demonstration right in the first 3 seconds. So even though the first 3 seconds are not taken up by him speaking entirely, the demonstration of the exercise starts going in as the visual cue. Now, the reason why this is so important is because nowadays the verbal and physical and visual changes happen anywhere from 0.5 to 1.5 seconds. So now, arguably, you could say that an attention span is a lot smaller than 3 seconds for that very reason, because we're seeing a lot of dynamic visual scene changes. Excuse me. So bad hooks are typically too slow. So the audience will scroll before they even get to the payoff of the video because they're not understanding what the point of the actual video is, since the hook never told them, hey, this is what you're going to be getting out of this video. Next up is there's going to be a lot of weak words in the beginning of your hook. So you'll see things like probably, maybe. There's no confidence. Even when you're speaking, there's no confidence in your intonation or your actual dialect. And that definitely affects how people view your content. Lastly, we also have delayed value. So delayed value, again, is when you're not really getting to the point. The benefit of the video comes too late and they're already scrolling past it before they understand what they'll be getting out of this video. Okay, now let's get into the strategy of good hooks. So again, I'm just going to skip the videos, but this is a good example. A creator named Jeff. He does a great visual cue. A lot of this works in fitness because you're actually demonstrating, but it doesn't have to be tied to the niche of fitness. You could be using this in terms of speaking about any given topic, but as long as you're providing a demonstration, whether this would be skincare, beauty, fitness, wellness supplements, the demonstration in the beginning is basically the payoff. This is another good example that we'll be sending you guys so you can visually see this. The reason videos like that typically work is because they're in an outside environment outside of their house, right? So obviously you could still have a good hook when you're speaking to the camera, but it's a lot more exciting to see a diverse environment of someone outside in public as opposed to someone who's sitting behind a desk, right? It's a little bit less visually boring, I like to say. So this is another great creator who does that. The reason why this one sticks out, and you guys could see this if you do choose to go through these, is she directly uses text on screen. Now, one of the biggest trends that has come across social media just in the last year alone was when people were doing the typing sound text as they had the text appear in front of their hook, right? So even though I'm not playing the video, you could see that she's starting the video with a question. Never lived there, question mark. A lot of times starting the video with a question has a higher payoff than just saying, I'm going to show you this. One of the tips that I learned and that I teach other creators is that the first thing you want to do when you get to your hook is never use the words I or me. The reason why is because in psychology, people don't really care about what you have to say. They only care about what you can do for them. So when you directly address the audience as you guys, I'm speaking to you, any format that's redirecting from I or me to you, that's a great way to really just hook in that viewer and make them feel connected to your video automatically before they even know what information is coming out. Excuse me. Now, we're going to go into some case studies of product sales and hooks, some of the things that I've already discussed, but this predominantly applies to UGC when it comes to ads. So this could be used in ads across Meta, which is Instagram conglomerate with Facebook, or this could actually be used across TikTok Shop. So we all are familiar, hopefully, with TikTok Shop and the impact that it has on social media nowadays. And the way I like to call it is it's basically a video version of Amazon shopping. So every big brand has already kind of migrated. And there are so many amazing creators, one of which who is actually joining us on this call today. Her name is Jordan. So I'll have her speak shortly. But here are some of the statistics that are able to make sales with just having high converting videos, right? So we have Jordan Theodore, who had a video that hit 31 million views, sold 4,300 units, and made $954,000 in revenue. And this was with a Ninja machine. Again, all of these examples are going to be provided to you guys. Then we have Deals with Ty, who had a video with 14 million views and sold 2.2 thousand units and made $641,000 in revenue. So a lot of what you're seeing here, just in these first two examples, is the creator is present with the product. And even though you can't tell, I could tell because I know what the video example is, but they are actually speaking while recording. So the video is not just voiced over and it's not using aesthetic trending audio. The video is verbally telling you in present moment what this product is doing. And then lastly, we have Jordan Gunderson, who I actually was familiar with because we both do comfort together. And she had a converting video with 7 million views that sold 3,400 units and made $165,000 in revenue. And she is one of TikTok Shop's top creators across the board. So that being said, I do want to have her come in and speak and give some tips that she has for creators. So Jordan, whenever you're willing to unmute.
Yes, hey guys. I'm Jordan. I'll just introduce myself a bit and then I wrote down just some tips that I feel like have helped me be really successful, not only on TikTok Shop, but just UGC deals in general and just overall content. But yeah, I'm Jordan. I've been posting on social media for about 7 years now. I used to make like $0 to $1,000 a month in commission. I treated it like a side hustle or like a little hobby. And then today, like this year alone, I've already made over $1 million in commission from UGC and TikTok Shop deals. And that is in commission, not GMV. So a lot of, oh, can you guys hear me? I just want to make sure. someone said something about the audio. Everyone can hear me? Okay, before I finish. But yeah, so I just want to say a few tips and tricks that I've started incorporating into my content to make them very high converting. And just some things. I know Abby kind of already talked about a couple of these, so sorry if they're repetitive. But clearly she knows what she's doing. So I'm going to start off with verbal and visual hooks. She kind of touched on this, but I'm going to kind of explain that a little more too. I think that in the beginning of my stages, when I wasn't making too much money, I was only focusing on verbal hooks, which is a start. But I think TikTok and content and UGC nowadays, like people just want entertainment more than anything else. So you kind of have to get creative where you're adding in marketing skills, but also entertaining them, which comes with visual hooks. And so just some examples of that, like try not to stand still in the beginning of any of your videos and just like verbally say something. You'll want to be like moving. So just some examples, like if you're promoting a teeth whitening product, you want to be like brushing your teeth in the beginning. If it's like a zip up hoodie, like zip the hoodie in the beginning. Or like I have this, speaking of Ninja, which I think is a couple of these guys' products that are doing really well. I'm doing like the waffle maker today. And so like a good visual hook paired with a verbal hook is like I'm gonna be opening the waffle maker in the beginning, right? I'm not just gonna be like staring at it, keeping it still. Like people want to see you doing something. Are you jumping into the frame? Are you spinning around using the product, right? And then I always have a rule in my videos where I make sure I show them and not just tell them things. So if you're saying something is like fast and convenient, you should be physically showing them how fast and convenient that is. I think of this lip stain, if you guys have seen it. This is a really big product on shops right now, but like it takes about 15 seconds, right? So I don't want to just say, oh, this stains your lips in 15 seconds, like it's so quick and easy. I want to show them that. So as I'm talking, I'm going to be putting it on and they're going to see that 15 seconds, no cuts, no BS, right? And I'm going to wipe it off in 15 seconds. That adds to my credibility where they're not just like, oh, sure, just another video saying something works fast, but it doesn't. It's like, no, they saw it. Like I just proved that with my own visual too, right? If you're saying something is stretchy, I do a lot of like clothing. I'd say fashion is definitely my niche, but like if you're saying something stretchy, you should be stretching it as you're saying that, not just like saying it, right? So you're just like, you're physically showing them that. Let's see here. Like even how Abby said, we kind of know each other through comfort, but like if you guys have seen them, they're like thicker, heavier weighted hoodies, right? So I'm not just gonna say that they're the like thickest material I've ever seen. I'm gonna grab a thin hoodie and I'm gonna be showing them next to each other while I'm saying that. So they don't need to just like hope that I'm saying the truth. They can see it. I almost don't even have to say it. So that actually leads me to my next point. Another rule I ask myself when I'm making videos is if I muted this video, would I still sell the product? Because I think visuals are very, very important. If your visuals aren't matching what you're saying, you're just kind of another video, to be honest. It's not entertaining. And people are going to scroll. And so going back to the entertaining aspect, while you're saying all of like, you know, the unique selling points of whatever it may be that you're talking about, I think it's really great to have multiple frames because once you hooked them in, they might stay for that first 5 seconds. You got them there, but how to make them stay for the whole video while you're saying everything cool about the product too and like really selling them on it. I have like the multiple frame rule. So I try not to stand in one spot the whole time. Like maybe I'm far away in one clip and then 2 seconds later I'm up close showing it up close, or in the next one I'm using it, or maybe I'm from the back in this one, like different angles. Like I try to make my videos fun and entertaining like that. And I think that makes people watch it all the way through where they actually get all the way to the point where I'm telling them my sizing. They click on the product link and they stayed for everything that I had to say because I'm also entertaining them with my visuals to keep them there. I don't know if that makes sense, but let's see. For hooks, a few just ideas for you guys that you can kind of use for like just structuring your hooks. I like to use things called scarcity hooks or pain point hooks. So like, for example, I've been promoting these jeans a lot lately. It's one of my top products right now. And a huge issue that I always have with jeans, because this is how I like to walk through it. I'm like, what are issues I have with products and how did this product like solve that for me, right? And then I'll turn that into my hook. And so like with jeans, if you're a girl, you probably know this, but it's so hard to find jeans that like fit everywhere and also don't have that really huge gap in the back, right? So I'm like, these jeans didn't have that for me. They like hugged me all the way around while fitting everywhere else. Like I've never seen that before. So like I was like, that's a pain point of finding jeans for me. So I'm gonna use that as my hook, right? So like my hook will be like, finally a pair of jeans that don't have that annoying gap back in there. while pairing this with everything I said before, I'm going to be showing them that there's no gap. I'm not just going to say that, right? I'm going to be like physically showing that while pairing it with my pain point hook of like that just solved the buying jeans issues for me. That's the reason I don't buy jeans. That's the reason I wear sweatpants every day, right? Because I don't find any that fit me there. So immediately that's my hook. I'm not going to say like, oh my gosh, unbox with me. I just got a new pair of jeans. They're scrolled. They've already scrolled, right? They're gone. They didn't get to the point where I got to tell them how amazing they were and what they solved for me. So start with the most important thing. It doesn't have to be every pain point, but just at least one that should be like your hook or a scarcity hook. I think stock, sales, pricing, or if it's like a limited edition seasonal product, you can start with that or you can end with that. But I use them as hooks all the time. So I'll be like, if there's like a 50% off sale on something, I'll be like, oh my gosh, I've never seen the Ninja Waffle Maker so cheap. Like it's 50% off. I don't know how much longer that's going to last. And then I'll get into it, right? So I pull them in with a scarcity hook of like, wait, what's 50% off right now? And that might be gone tomorrow. Like, well, maybe I want to see what she's talking about so I can get it for cheap, right? And then, or if it's like seasonal, like we're getting into fall, right? Like whatever this may be, like maybe it's a fall only product, right? You can say like they came out with XYZ for fall, won't be back until next fall once these ones sell out, and then get into it, right? You can kind of start or end with those scarcity hooks. And then my last thing, two kind of things, but another rule I have is that while I'm editing, I edit out all fluff. So when I'm watching my own video, if I see myself say like I'm obsessed with something 4 times on accident, just because I'm a girl, I say that over and over and over again, but I will edit it out. I don't think it needs to be posted. I think it takes up too much time in the video and it takes away from like what's really important. So if I say I'm obsessed with something, I love something, I just got XYZ, I will go in and I will just like either on CapCut or in TikTok, wherever I'm filming, I'll just like split and I'll delete it just to make the video shorter and more to the point. Because like Abby already said, but like attention spans, you have to act like you're talking to like people with 3-year-old attention spans on this app, because truly they're just like there's so much, and everyone's just consuming. So if they just hear you talk about how obsessed you are with something, but you're not actually telling them how it's solving anything, they're gone, right? They're bored. So I edit those out. If it's not a pain point or something that's like necessary, like sizing on something or a sale on something, I will actually just delete it while I'm editing, and it makes my videos like 30 seconds shorter every time. And then last thing I have for you guys is just the order of which I do my content. And just remember, this doesn't have to be perfect right off the bat. Editing is a very powerful tool. You don't need to like, if you were out of order while you were filming, you don't need to like pause, delete everything and restart. You can fix this in editing. I feel like this is how I can post a lot of videos without getting too flustered and spending too much time, because you don't have to be a perfectionist. Editing is so powerful. But when I'm editing my video, I will make sure that it goes from most important points to least important. And if I said something really important at the end, I will crop it and I will drag it to the front. And I will make sure it goes in order of most important selling pain points to least important. An example of this for clothing, I usually try to make my unique points about the product, you know, like the gap in the jeans, how stretchy they are, how they feel like leggings, how they're not uncomfortable. And then I will maybe get into, oh, by the way, they also have 4 different color options. Like, I still think that's necessary, but it's not really a selling point yet. So I'm going to make sure I say all those cool things first, what it's solving, the issues it's helping me with, maybe a 50% off sale. Like, I'm going to say those things first. And then at the end, I'll be like, by the way, I'm 5'2", I'm wearing a size small, right? Like, those things are necessary, but people don't even care about your size until they're already sold on the product, right? So you want things like that are, I call them necessary but boring. I put those at the end, because like if I'm gonna only have them for the first 20 seconds, I want to make sure they get all these things about it, right? So what you can do at the end in your editing. So if you're seeing yourself saying something 60 seconds in that's like so great, like you're like, even as a consumer, like, oh, that would have got me, you should be dragging that to the front. Do not keep it back there. Like, put it to the first 10 seconds and let your sizing, if you accidentally said that in the beginning or something like that, or like the colors of something, put that at the bottom at the end. Because yeah, that's my other rule of thumb. People don't care about my size or the other colors or anything unless they're already sold on the product. And so I just try to use my time wisely like that. But I feel like that's a pretty good like Jordan's rule of thumbs that I use in every single video. But yeah.
So quickly, before we have you back on mute, I did want to ask
Yeah.
you, it's going to be super valuable for everyone. What would
Yeah.
you say are the top 3 things that you could take away from your highest converting video across all of TikTok Shop?
Yeah, kind of what I said there, of my order is usually really great. Of like the most important to least important. This is a basic one that I'm sure all of you guys know, but my lighting, like I refuse to make a video in a dark room. Like my lighting will always be in front of a window and it just makes everything look way more clear. Sometimes I film outside even. All my top videos have the best lighting. And then I would say they all have some type of visual hook, even if it's as simple as you guys, instead of just standing and saying something, I'm walking towards the screen or like I'm moving myself. Just like it can be the slightest little shift, but like I'm always moving or doing something or like moving my hand around, like throwing a piece of clothing on a bed or something like that. I'm always kind of moving, if that makes sense. And then yeah, I would say that my number 3 kind of compiles all these, but I feel like my mindset is how fast and efficiently can I get them all the like all the information that they need to buy this. I try not to mess around in my videos too much. That's with that fluff. I would say my top videos are like so straight to the point. It's like selling point after selling point after selling point. If you guys even go to my TikTok, I have a couple of my top videos pinned. You'll see like there's this one, I think it's my second one pinned. It's like of these jeans and it is just point after point after point and the frames are all different. So it's just so fun to watch and people are intrigued and there's like I want to say like there's no BS in it, truly. Like I'm just like entertaining and selling, but when you're entertaining, you don't come off as salesy, I guess, but you're also like proving pain points and I like am showing them everything that I'm saying. So that's what I would say all my top converting videos have. Like I've had videos that just off of one video, like there was a video I made like 120,000 in 1 year off one video, like one 30-second video, right? And I would say most of my top videos are between 30 and 60 seconds. So that's a time thing for me too. I think 60 seconds, when you're getting above 60 seconds, you might be saying a little too much fluff. That might be an indicator you need to edit some things out and just keep the most important in there. Because if people are on their lunch break or whatever and they're just taking a quick scroll, like how can you sell them on their lunch break versus when they're just like laying in bed, right? But yeah, sorry, that's probably more than 3, but it's hard.
No, that was so perfect. That was perfect. And
Yeah.
I think that's really valuable insight. And if you want to even type your handle in the chat so that everyone knows
Yeah.
exactly what to find you. I mean, your name is on the screen right now, but definitely
Yeah, it's the same thing. It just has like an underscore in between. So I'll send it in here.
perfect. And I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions too, but just a quick reminder, at the end, if you can put all your questions into the Q&A section so we can get to those. But once again,
wait.
Yep.
Sorry. How do I send it to everyone? Oh, never mind. I see. Never mind. Okay.
All good. Okay, so I'm gonna try, because I did see one of you guys actually say that you want to have me just try to play the video. So I'm gonna just play Jordan's. Once again, if you can't see it, this will all be provided to you guys.
So the pink comfort hoodies were just sold out for like 5 months, but they just restocked them. And I wanted to show you guys the difference between all 3 of the shades because they are very different. This is the hot pink. It's definitely the most vibrant of all the pinks and it's very rich. This is the sorbet. It might be my favorite. It's definitely a lot lighter than the hot pink, which you can see here, but still very, very pink. And this is the petal. It's a very, very light pink. If you don't want something that's going to turn heads whenever you walk in a room like the other 2, this is going to be more of that soft, super light pink. They are all included in their 50% off sale right now. So if you like 2 shades, you can actually get 2 of them for the price of 1. If you need help with sizing on any of these, just let me know your height and I can help you in the comments.
Yeah, so that was a great example. That's one of Jordan's, just one of Jordan's top videos.
And I can kind of speak on that one too, real quick. I will say that one's a little different than my typical ads. That one, when you're promoting for a brand that's very well known and they drop something new and literally the whole world knows about them, you can kind of have more of these like shorter videos do well for them. And so this was more of like a retargeting for people who already owned comfort. I would say the brand was using this specific video for like people who have already purchased from the brand. So this is like a little bit different of a style. I wouldn't say this is my typical style. If you wanted to see more of like the ones I kind of just explained, those will be pinned on my page. But these work really well for if you know a brand's like blowing up that everybody knows about, like a Lululemon, right? Everybody knows comfort. So when they drop something brand new, that was like an example of they had just dropped 3 Shades of Pink. So that one's more informational and kind of fun still, but still very straight to the point. Like I think it was only 30 seconds, right? And pulled them in with the scarcity hook of like, oh my gosh, like these are usually sold out for 4 months in a row. Like kind of like persuading them like if they don't get it now, they might not get it for all of winter until it's summer, and then they won't even want the hoodie, right? So that was just kind of a different type of video too that I wanted to explain.
No, that was perfect. Thank you so much again. And Jordan dropped her handle, so definitely check her out. And then just because I don't want to take up way too much time, I still want to get to everything, especially the Q&A. Let's get into basically what TikTok Shop is looking for. A lot of what Jordan actually covered herself was brands are looking for creators who can actively drive sales. So if you want to, say work with one of the bigger brands, essentially you have to remember that it is imperative to work your way up. So a lot of what I recommend for creators who don't actually have experience having a GMV or have not grown a GMV is use the products that you already know and own. So a lot of these products have already migrated from brands like, from even sellers like Amazon to your top brands to everything that's in a drugstore can be found on TikTok Shop. So if you're eligible to be in the program, you could tag the product with your existing products and start generating sales just by promoting and practicing in that manner. And once you generate a GMV, you'll attract even more brands. So a lot of high performing videos also land you long-term brand partnerships, right? So I pretty much get this question pretty often, and it's how do you get retaining clients? And truthfully, nobody goes in as a beginner and lands a retaining contract right away. I'm sure it happens because everything is possible. However, it's not seemingly what has worked for me and what I find works for a lot of successful creators, because in order to build a reputation, you have to have consistency and long-term performance that shows your experience. So make that the aim. Understand that it is possible to get a retaining client. And if something is resonating and selling for you, you will likely get a long-term partnership if you just apply yourself in terms of consistently posting. Your content can also directly translate into earnings. Exactly how Jordan's was. She said straight to the point, no BS, no fluff. And that's how you land conversions, right? People want information. They don't just want way too much stuffiness, I like to call it. They don't want a lot of fluff in between. And a lot of TikTok rewards can happen for creators who generate those conversions, right? Brands come back, you get a higher earning commission, you make bonuses, you get more views. It's a very domino effect. And at the same time, authenticity sells, and that is your competitive edge. Now, I didn't get to the question portion yet, but I did see someone in the chat say, how do you sell without making it look like you are in an infomercial, right? Authenticity. So when you're on the phone with your mom, your best friend, your dog, you're talking to your cat, whatever the situation is, how do you speak? How do you naturally speak? Who are you as a person, right? So if I sat you down one-on-one and I said to you, if you were to describe yourself to me, what do you say? Do you immediately are just stuttering and you're kind of shy and you're like shying away from just being your true self? Or are you very confident in knowing who you are? You're emotional when you're speaking. Like, for example, I'm European, so I use my hands when I talk. This is just who I am. So this is how I speak on camera. This is how I authentically appear. And I will discuss from A to Z how I feel about something. And it is visually seen in my facial cues, how I speak. Because a lot of what sells is how you're able to deliver. And when you speak organically, for instance, when you're talking on FaceTime to a friend, when you're speaking to, a phone call or whatever, you're just being yourself. And that's how you kind of have to treat the camera. That's what I find is the most authentic. Let's get on to the next slide whenever it decides to load. Excuse me. And now these are some hook templates that you guys can actually steal from us and make sure that you take notes. Once again, I'm not going to go through all the videos because I don't want to run out of time, and also they are lagging, but a great example is either demonstrating or speaking while saying, stop doing this and start doing this instead. Now, the reason that works is because it's literally giving you a solution to a problem. Now, the next one, this is obviously food oriented, you guys can see, is what if I told you? So a good example would be, What if I told you that this entire can of peanut butter has 13 grams of protein as opposed to 7 like the others, right? It's very informational, it's educational, and it's making you feel like you're about to get some really cool intel that you haven't gotten before. So that's why that typically works. Obviously, in pairing with a visual cue. Now, this one's a little bit tricky. This one I'm going to try to play just so you guys can hear just the beginning.
Can you tell me how to buy a house in 60 seconds?
You ever drive down the street, you see the one that's run down? Those are the houses you want because those are people saying, hey.
All right, I'm going to stop that there because it is lagging, but a few takeaways from that to begin. Oh, okay. Well, a few takeaways from that specific video to begin with are there's 2 people on screen. It's interview style format. Those have been going crazy on social media. Why? Because it's a little bit more visually engaging to have 2 people as opposed to 1, right? It also starts in question format. So he's asking a very direct and a very intriguing question. Can you tell me how to buy a house in 60 seconds? I'm sure this could be applied to any niche and any strategy, but that hook is very visually strong and verbally strong. Now, we also do have a hook library for you guys that we will give you access to. So this is a hot or not. We can try to vote to see if you guys think something is good versus something is bad. Now, this is a little challenge that you guys can do yourselves. This is directly tied to your JoinBrands account. So if you want to enter this little challenge, so all you have to do is film 1 video using any of the hooks that we discussed from today's session, and you can mix it up with visual hooks, verbal hooks, whatever it is that you think will convert. And we will be featuring it as one of our favorites, maybe even on the JoinBrands social media channels, of course, giving you guys credit. And the exciting thing is that if you win, a winner will snag $100 in their JoinBrands account just for having the challenge. So you'll just get paid for doing it as a winner. And in the next session, if you attend to the challenge, you will be entered into getting a profile audit directly from me. And that will kind of help you shift your social media strategy just a little bit. Let's move on to the next. Now, these are kind of like the rules. This again will be provided to you guys. I'm not going to go through everything just for the sake of time because I want to get to Q&A. And now it's Q&A time. So I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to get to the question format. And I'm going to try to get to as many questions as possible. So I'm looking into the Q&A section. So if you guys go to the bottom of your Zoom, that's where you'll be able to see. Let me just go through some of these with you guys. So first question is, what is Comfort? Comfort is a very popular viral clothing brand. They sell matching sweat sets and they have diversified into blankets. You can check them out, but they're spelled COMFRT. So it's a clothing brand. Cindy says, do these creators get pushed out more and why they go viral and make huge revenue? No. So the great thing about TikTok Shop and social media is that everyone has the same equal opportunity. But like we discussed, the whole point of this entire presentation is to educate you guys on how can you improve your hooks for you to actually be generating more sales. So if your hook is not capturing enough visual cues, and if your hook is not strong enough to get people to watch the video, you're likely not making conversions. But virality does come from a higher level of engagement, right? So if you landed your hook, you have a body of great information, your visual cues are set, your video will get pushed out to a higher audience because it keeps garnering more and more engagement, right? People are sharing it, people are commenting, there's conversations happening in the comment section. More engagement typically leads to more engagement. That's why virality happens. So if you're not seeing yourself even gain a viral moment, it's time to kind of dive into your strategy and see, why is that not happening for me? Why am I not reaching a larger audience? Next question is, any tips or recommendations for gaining more brands, more jobs on JoinBrands? Does it have anything to do with the videos we uploaded into our JoinBrands profile? So there's 2 sections on your JoinBrands account. There's a certificate section, which is basically all of the qualifications you have to fulfill in order to get a job. Those videos are not visible to any of the brands you apply for. Then there's your portfolio, which is required and visible to brands. So if your portfolio doesn't have good examples of your work and your high conversions and your ability as a creator, then you will not likely get hired. You have to think of it as basically your job application, right? So the best advice that I could give you for landing more jobs on JoinBrands is check the app every day, especially now that it's Q4 marketing season and brands are looking for the highest amount of content throughout the entire duration of the year. You want to be applying to as many tasks as possible. And it is on a first come, first serve basis, right? Because things are time sensitive. So check daily. And you also want to make sure you have great examples, but I also do have a playlist on the JoinBrands TikTok channel that tells you exactly what you could do as a creator on JoinBrands. How often do you repeat content? Do you film in the same locations? Do you feel that repetition is key? First of all, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If something is working and it's generating you sales, typically you want to recreate that format over and over. Very seldom, specifically on TikTok Shop or even on ads, do you have to completely shift strategy if it is already working. Yes, different locations are fun to mix it up. It's visually a good cue, especially when it's the same video. And how many videos do you put on one product? As someone who has had the chance to speak with people who are in TikTok, you do want to push for 5 to 10 videos a day, and you do want to verticalize and get yourself down to a smaller amount of products that you are promoting. Because if you're going to be promoting 60 products in a month, unfortunately, you're not going to see that much success as opposed to someone who buckles down and sticks to a smaller variety of products. What's one hook that almost always works? Usually a question format when you're asking the audience a direct question. How often do you repeat content? We already passed that. How can I find out hooks that work? Do you do research? So everything that we discussed here is hooks that typically work. We will be giving you access to a hook library. Is there a sweet spot? I believe Jordan covered this. So anything that goes from 30 to 90 seconds, but I will say that it's not locked down to that. I have had actually one of my highest converting videos across TikTok Shop has reached 10 million views and has generated hundreds of thousands of dollars since last year to this day. And that video is 15 seconds long. So I actually have a breakdown on my page. Let me know if you guys are interested in that being discussed, but that video has generated sales and I've continuously done response to comments from the comments of that video, but that video is selling a belly button ring. And it is very niche because not everyone has one, but you could do this with any piece of jewelry, right? And the video performed really well because I made it controversial. I said that the barbell belly button ring is ugly, and that hit a lot of nerves. And for whatever reason, that kept fostering engagement in the comments, and people were arguing in the comments. And I was able to respond and engage in those conversations. And the next thing you know, that 10 million view video turned into 5 other videos that all reached over 2 million views each because I took the traction immediately and ran with it. And that was only 15 seconds. I voiced over the video while demonstrating the product, and this has happened to me on several occasions. So no, you're not locked down to 30 to 90 seconds, but those are typically the videos that have the most information on a product and do have high conversions. I already addressed sounding like an infomercial, so that's just talking natively. Do you create multiple videos for one product? Yes, and I cannot stress this enough because just like I said with my top performing video on TikTok Shop, I have created multiple videos since. And the reason for that being is not only does it garner a sense of authenticity, like you as a personal brand starts to promote the same things because that's what you like, but also you're allowing yourself to test different variations that work the best and recreate the more of what does work. Getting noticed on JoinBrands, like I said, we do have a playlist that actually helps creators identify what you could be doing better in order to land more jobs, but you can start getting noticed more by brands by excuse me, having a higher amount of reviews. So when you get a larger amount of reviews, so for example, you complete a job, you chat them in the JoinBrands chat and you say, hey, I loved working with you. I would love for you guys to leave me a positive review. That's visible to other brands. And obviously, if you don't have one yet, that's fine. But when you get your first job, always DM them and ask them, hey, can you just leave me a review based on your experience? Okay. Is this meeting recorded? Yes, it will be. I'm trying to like shift through all the questions so I can get to as many as possible. JoinBrands right now, we do not have mini classes on how to land GMVs, but on the TikTok channel, I post a lot of free tips and information that actually helps you guys keep generating sales. So definitely don't miss out on following us on TikTok and Instagram. So Canadians don't have TikTok shop. So lucky for you, Julie, we do actually have UGC deals in our platform. So you can sign up and apply to all of these jobs on a daily basis. And because it is Q4, there's more and more coming up. So securing brand deals, obviously you have to have the consistency of being able to apply frequently, and you will get more inbounds as you post on your own social media. So even though being a UGC creator doesn't require you to have a following count, when you advertise yourself as a social media creator on social media, you will get more traction because you never know who's watching. Would you say that TikTok shop videos and UGC are done differently? So truthfully, I'm seeing the shift from UGC come closer to the organic format of TikTok shop. It still has to have that same level of information that knocks down all the selling points, but it is more casual feeling. And a lot of UGC is converting to that nowadays because people don't want to be sold to. People are recognizing this. The hook library will be provided to you. I'm just trying to get to... Okay, so someone anonymous said, I'm a boomer, so any advice is welcome. How long should you post a video on a product on TikTok? I have 5 videos per week and I'm focusing on one product now, but if I have no sales, how long do I continue to promote? So truthfully, I don't think that 5 videos per week is enough. I post 5 videos per day, and obviously 1 video a day is enough to grow, but it will grow very slowly, especially because TikTok is awarding creators who post anywhere between 5 to 10 times a day. I would even argue that doing 2 a day is better. If you have, say, 5 videos on a product that are not working, the question that you should have is, what am I doing wrong in those videos? Because even if you don't have 1 sale, you need to kind of lock down and really figure out, like, why is that video not converting, right? I would even compare to other products that you have. Maybe if you have other better performing products, I would focus on those, but I would still try to figure out why none of those 5 made a difference, because 5 is a lot and should be typically enough for you to test. Okay, let's see. Is it better to be posting multiple videos in a row for the same product? Definitely, because the more traffic routes you create, you will be creating and driving more traffic. What is my thoughts about AI UGC? I truly feel, and I know a lot of people argue, AI I think is a great tool, but I truly feel that AI will never be able to replace the human interaction. I think there are a lot of advanced tools that we could be using to help us. For example, ChatGPT is great for using scripts, ideas, finding out what works and what doesn't work. But I don't think that a visual AI model, I mean, obviously it has gotten very advanced over time, is going to be able to replace the true organic conversation of a human being. But that's just my thoughts, and a lot of people have a lot to say about it. But I do think that as a creator nowadays, we still live in a world where human interaction is very important. So make it a priority to speak in front of the camera. Make it a priority to have very visual, emotional, human-like interactions and engage with your community. Same product back to back is not overkill. Definitely do it. Besides major platforms and CapCut, what are the best free editing tools? I've heard of Splice, but truthfully, I have been using CapCut for 4 years now. I want to say maybe 5, and I like it. So Steph asked, what do you think of a no niche page? TikTok, when it comes to TikTok specifically, and any other platforms, having a branding is very important. So I don't believe in such a thing as no niche, because you could be no niche and you could just be posting aimlessly, and that will drive you not as much traffic as you should be getting, even if a video is good, because the platform doesn't know who to target that content to, right? But if you want to be a no niche, and what I'm gathering from this is that you're likely a personal brand or a lifestyle creator, because in lifestyle, you can showcase many different versatile aspects of your life, but the common denominator bringing it all together is you and your personality. You could still go about it that way, because that's what I myself do, because I have a conglomerate of showcasing the aspects of my business, showcasing the aspect of my health and fitness, but also doing beauty, skincare, and fashion. And the main branding of my page is myself, because I tie it all together. I will say that throughout the development of doing a lot of audits for personal branding, the least successful ones are the ones who don't know how to create a theme or a pattern that ties it all together. And if you find that having one niche or sticking to one topic is giving you more conversions, then that's still okay of a route to do. And a lot of what people will advise you to do is to create multiple TikTok pages, but you have to ask yourself, is that going to become overwhelming? So my advice, if you don't want to niche down, is find ways to create a common denominator amongst all of those things, tying them together, commonly being yourself, which often pairs with being able to have a personality and being able to be comfortable speaking in front of the camera. Do you recommend creating a UGC account separate from a personal? No, and I truly feel that separating UGC accounts from personal or lifestyle accounts is not going to be productive, because as a personal brand, you create more attention to yourself by having UGC as an asset to your personality and not just your main theme. And like I said, UGC is becoming very organic. So if you can show that you can perform on social media, brands will still see that as valuable. They don't need to know that you still do UGC on the side. They will still likely want to hire you because they already see you're a great creator. And that's typically what I do when it comes to hiring too. Like when I do social media management for brands, a lot of the creators that I want to hire, I know that they already perform well based on what they've posted on their social media. I should have been checking these along as I go because I have 70 questions open right now. Should I use the same hook on TikTok and Instagram? If I find that a video does well on TikTok, will it do well on Instagram and vice versa? Yes. So typically, if something already performs well, it's because the entirety of the video is a hit with an audience. So if you can transfer that, and I always say this to everyone, if you are not using it on every platform, you are robbing yourself of a potential audience. So always cross-post content. And on several occasions, I have had occasions where a video will do really well on TikTok, not as good as Instagram, but then a video will do really well on Instagram and not as good as TikTok. And I've had it happen where they'll go viral on both. So definitely cross post. How to increase your engagement and your comments. Usually this happens when you're asking a question, when you're directly identifying the audience and addressing them. And it does significantly help when you are able to have a call to action that says, leave any questions for me. If you guys want more information, comment below. Find a way to drive the traffic where you're telling them, hey, leave the traffic in the comments. How many videos? I already done that. On JoinBrands, typically you can hear back from a brand anywhere between a day to a week. So it all depends on how active they are themselves. So landing recurring partnerships on JoinBrands happen from when you have enough credibility and experience as a creator. So at this time, recurring partnerships are invite only. So if you do receive one, they will be sent to you. But there will not be a section. I see there's a section for recurring partnerships. So that's when they are sent directly to you. So the more you perform on JoinBrands, the more visible your profile is and the more recommended it is. So you will get more opportunities. And once again, that comes from landing great reviews and landing, feedback from brands that is visible to other brands on the platform, as well as keeping your portfolio updated. What do I need to do to get affiliate marketing in TikTok Shop videos? So for you to be eligible to link products, you need to meet all of TikTok's requirements. So from my understanding right now, the pilot program allows up to 1,000 followers of a following count. You must be 18. You must be in participating countries, and you must also have no violations. But you can check through your own TikTok studio because it will tell you your requirements. What are your thoughts about videos that have too much movement in and out, swaying left and right? For me, I scroll because I feel like it's giving me a headache. I see this a lot on TikTok. So I think there's a difference between getting vertigo, and I think there's a difference between doing little subliminal cues such as this, placing your phone down, moving your camera a little bit, right? You shouldn't feel like you're on a roller coaster, because I too turn away from that. I don't think it's visually appealing, but I do think that slight movements are very important because it still holds somebody's attention. When we apply for TikTok and Instagram jobs, is there a minimum follower count or based off of followers or metrics? So in JoinBrands, you will actually see each certificate requirement and it will tell you piece by piece. And again, we have a video breakdown on our profile for that as well. Yes, you will get sent the recording. Since it is Q4 already, should we still niche down if our account is not niche? So I believed that I already addressed the niching down. I do think that it is imperative to take advantage of selling as much as possible and directly focus on gifting opportunities because that is what does the best. I actually did publish several videos on JoinBrands TikTok channel that tells you what type of content performs well for Q4. But I promise you, if for a month you decide you want to focus on beauty and you're pumping out enough content, and then the next month you want to shift into skincare, it's not going to really hurt you that much. I have shifted from niches several times. I have gone from just doing strictly fitness to then wellness and lifestyle to then beauty. And I have tried, I feel like I've done it all. And that does not affect my sales because I still have a 6-figure business and I still drive conversions, excuse me. So it will not affect your ability to monetize. What if I have a Russian accent? So believe it or not, I'm actually Russian myself. Having an accent is not going to stop you. If anything, it makes it more, can you guys still hear me? If anyone can just type and let me know if you guys can still hear me because someone said the audio. Okay, cool. Thank you guys. Having an accent probably makes you more interesting to watch. That becomes a personality trait that makes you stick out of everybody else. So use it to your advantage. Speak, listen, do never be embarrassed of those qualities and never feel that it's holding you back. Yeah, having an accent is exotic, period. Yes. Okay, trying to get through some more questions. What if you are sent a product to do a video and you don't like it? Do you give that feedback or pretend you do? Now, as someone who has been in social media for almost 6 years now, always be yourself and be authentic. Because when you don't like something, even though you think you're a great actor, you will definitely come across not liking it in the video. Always be yourself. I will always tell a brand, hey, I'm so sorry, but this doesn't fit me well, or this came broken, or this isn't right, and I don't feel that it resonates. And guess what? The world does not stop spinning. So be honest. That's just my take. A lot of questions that I'm seeing are people talking about, oh, I keep applying for jobs and I keep, I'm being consistent. What am I doing wrong? Why am I not getting jobs on JoinBrands? Like I said, it's very first come, first serve. It's also, you guys have to remember, you need to have a great portfolio. If your portfolio is not completed in the portfolio section, you will likely not get a lot of jobs. That being said, these examples have to have great hooks. They have to be converting. They shouldn't just be the same style video. They need to have diversity. For example, mixing in the ability to do a green screen versus a voiceover versus a product demonstration versus a testimonial. So each of these have to be different. Can you have more than one account with JoinBrands? I believe you can only have one. If someone can quote me on this in the chat and just let me know from the team. But you should only have one because your social media gets connected to it and so does your address and payment information. You can incorporate AI to make it more fun and visual. And actually, that's something that Meta is pushing. I did have a phone call with Meta, I think I want to say 2 weeks ago, and they are encouraging the use of AI because that's the rise of the content they're seeing. Whether this is effects and just visual tactics, it's not just, an AI character doing all the work, but it is doing well predominantly on Meta. And we do have AI jobs that are now opened up in JoinBrands. If we're not on TikTok Shop yet, is it still beneficial to still post prior content on products and let's say AIP without redirecting offsite? Yes, absolutely. And the reason why is because it serves as your portfolio for other brands who may work with you. So they actually might want to work with you for UGC just because they're seeing you already perform and do that. And when you do get into TikTok, that serves as credibility. Can you give us a good example of a pitch video? I actually have a video on this on the JoinBrands TikTok, again, in the creator tips playlist. So definitely check that out. How long do you wait between posting videos? So I'm going to give my friend props for this because she taught me this. Her name is Aisha. And she told me that she will rage post back to back to back to back, and it works. And on TikTok, at least, Instagram is very different. But on TikTok, for shops, you do not need to wait to post. And there is no such thing as a perfect posting time. Not on Instagram Reels and not on TikTok. And the reason for that being is when you look at where your traffic comes from, it is almost always from For You page or from external sources. It's usually never from your existing audience. So timing does not really matter. Are hashtags important? No. But I'm so happy someone asked this question because this is the juicy part of the questions, I think. So hashtags are not as important because search engine optimization and keyword use is. So what are you verbally saying in your video that identifies the video to the topic you're speaking with? And what are you saying in the caption that directly ties those keywords that are searchable to people in the caption? So this also includes linking the correct captions and subtitles to your video when you're speaking. So definitely use those. How do you grow as a UGC creator when you just started social media with a small following? So the best part about this is that everybody starts at 0, okay? So just start posting and be consistent. And honestly, I know a lot of people will argue with this, and I don't think that you need to post every day, but posting every day will make you stand out against someone who is not, and it will give you traction faster. If you're having questions about a VPN, I would contact the support team. I can't say that I can answer that. How come are some creators able to link more than one product? All right, so here's the ever-all mystery of TikTok Shop is that I don't know why they don't allow you to do certain features. For example, I can tag multiple TikTok Shop products, but I can't tag products in photo posts. Some creators can tag products in photo posts and some creators can't. So I think that it's just a very trial basis wise. They just roll out different features, similar to how Instagram Reels rewarded monetization to some creators and some did not. Sorry, guys, I'm just trying to read through all the questions because there's a lot and I can only get to so many. Do brands actually look at your portfolio? When you're applying on JoinBrands, yes, absolutely, because they want to see that they're hiring a creator who's qualified. I know you mentioned SEO and keywords, but how exactly can you put it together so the algorithm can pick it up? So in your caption, say for example, I posted a video about a flower pot. I don't know, I'm staring at a vase in front of me. So if I post a video about a flower pot and I'm telling you that the flower pot is made out of ceramic coating, but what makes us stand out against every other flower pot is that it uses a really unique painting technique and it's got a really nice pattern and it goes in a minimalist home and it's the perfect minimalist decor. All of those things that I just said should be verbally in the video when I'm saying it, and you should be generating captions. So if someone is looking for minimal home decor, they might not be looking for a vase, but that vase will pop up because I mentioned minimal home decor. So it's all about how can you correctly use the caption. So in the caption, I'm going to write, I absolutely love how beautiful this minimalist white vase looks in my modern organic home. Like it might sound like word vomit, but it is cohesively put together where those words are strategically placed. And you could actually ask ChatGPT to write you prompts to put in your keywords or what you can verbally say to link those. Do brands see my previous projects on JoinBrands or just my portfolios? Yes, they do see your previously completed projects if a review has been left in your reviews section. So again, the higher your reviews, the better your performance. I think I am going to wrap this up because the class is an hour long. I think that we might end up doing another masterclass, but also, again, if you guys want to connect with me, I have, obviously you can find me on JoinBrands channel and my own personal, which I'll type in the chat. It is Abby Fridman. And I post a lot of tips on social media, content creation, and of course, we share all the tips on how to succeed on JoinBrands in several playlists on our JoinBrands channel, which you can find on Instagram and TikTok. I run the TikTok account, so I will be responsive on TikTok, and that is our handle. But I'm seeing all the comments now, and you guys are saying thank you, and I'm so grateful for this opportunity. I'm so grateful that I was able to get to a lot of questions, but just remember, Everyone starts at zero. Stay consistent and stay creative. So once again, thank you guys so much for joining. This will all be sent to you. This was all recorded and you will get access to the examples we provided. But I hope everybody has a wonderful day, and it's so nice getting to answer your questions. Bye, guys.